All right, it's 2 o'clock on the nose. Should we get started? Hi, everyone. Welcome to the North Carolina Museum of History. I'm Steve Daniels from ABC 11 Eyewitness News, and it's really great to be here with all of you for this prestigious event, the Governor Richard Caswell Award Ceremony, honoring some really extraordinary work and dedication by so many state employees. It's fantastic to be back here with you. I last did this in 2019, which was the last time we actually had the Caswell Awards in person, and then, of course, everything got changed around, and it's the first time we're back together for this award ceremony since the state of emergency related to the pandemic. And this is such a special day for all of us across the state of North Carolina. I feel like I'm representing everyone from the mountains to the coast in thanking this very special fraternity of state workers for their extraordinary careers in making North Carolina a better place to live for all of us. This event today is a chance for us to get together and honor their extraordinary careers and also celebrate with their leadership from the state agencies they represent, as well as their family and friends, and I know their co-workers here as well, celebrating their 45-year-long careers. Here to salute you all, please stand right now and welcome today's honor guard from the newly created Department of Adult Correction, and presenting the colors today, Captain Richard Ringler, Captain Thetford Simmons, Sergeant Miranda Waller, and Officer Benjamin Kimbrough. Please remain standing and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you to the North Carolina Color Guard and Honor Guard, and thank you very much for standing to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. The public employees we are here to celebrate today took very different paths to get to this point, but they share one thing in common: this extraordinary 45-year commitment to supporting the people of North Carolina and improving the well-being of all of us statewide. Before we introduce the Caswell honorees who are with us today, I want to acknowledge the distinguished leaders who are here to recognize the honorees. Please hold your applause until I finish calling their names. David Smith, the Chief Deputy Secretary of the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, who received a Caswell Award 5 years ago. John Widger, the Chief Deputy Secretary from the Department of Commerce. Christy Jones, the Chief of Staff from the Office of Governor. Deborah Farrington, the Deputy Secretary and Chief Health Equity Officer at the Department of Health and Human Services. Phil Hooper, Deputy Commissioner at the Department of Labor. And Dr. Darren Waters, Deputy Secretary of Archives and History at the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources. Now let's give them all a round of applause. All right, listen to this. Someone did some math here and figured this out, that the 19 Caswell honorees who are here today have a total combined service to the state of North Carolina of 855 years. I find that kind of mind-boggling. I've been at my career as a reporter and anchor in network news and local news for 36 years, and nearly 25 years of those have been here in the Triangle. And when I think about that, for these honorees, at 36 years, there were some of your colleagues who were getting ready to retire or retiring, and at that point, 36 years, you're just getting warmed up, just getting started with your extraordinary 45-year careers. In my work at ABC 11 Eyewitness News, I have the opportunity very often to interact with terrific state employees all across our viewing area who are dedicated to the work they do and to the leadership as well. And it is very clear to me that this is a very special group of people we're here to celebrate today because of their commitment, because of their dedication, because of what they have done to dedicate their lives, their careers to us. And on behalf of everyone in journalism who covers the state agencies and state government, it is my pleasure to say thank you and honor you for your extraordinary and exceptional service. You always show your dedication. You're always professional. And that's what we're here to celebrate today. And it's a great privilege to say on behalf of Governor Cooper, thank you, all state employees, for your exceptional service. No matter the challenges, the governor says you always meet them head on and continue to improve our great state immeasurably. To honor the remarkable scope of accomplishments of our longest-serving employees, the Caswell Award Program was created in January of 1998, and it's managed by the Office of State Human Resources. And the purpose is to really express our sincere appreciation for the extended, dedicated service of state employees who have reached this very rare milestone of 45 years in their careers. The award was named after Richard Caswell. He was a Maryland native who dedicated most of his adult life to making North Carolina better. He started out as a lawyer and a surveyor. He began his public service career as the first Orange County Clerk of Court. He took up arms during the Revolutionary War, and he later became a member of the Colonial Assembly, where he was a champion of free public education for people in North Carolina. After the country's independence from Britain, Caswell became North Carolina's first governor. He served the first time from 1776 to 1780. He later served as state controller and returned to the job as chief executive, and was governor again from 1784 to 1787. He was also a delegate to the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia in 1787, and then he served as a state senator. In 1789, at the age of 60, he died from a stroke while presiding over a Senate session in Fayetteville. Today, our honorees who are here with us today reflect nearly a lifetime of commitment as well to serving the people of North Carolina. All of you are mentors. You understand the sometimes intricate workings of state government here in North Carolina, and you are all extraordinary contributors who have made a lasting impact. To all the state employees who are here with us today, know that we're keenly aware that you are North Carolina's most valuable asset. Please join me in giving a round of applause to all the state employees who are here this day. Right now, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Nancy Strike. Nancy is the Director of the Diversity and Workforce Services Division at the Office of State Human Resources. You're here to introduce our special guest, Nancy.
Right. I have the distinct pleasure of following Steve Daniels, who does this for a living. I'll try to be as entertaining, but thank you, Steve, and good afternoon, everyone. As the Office of State Human Resources has the privilege of presenting the annual Caswell Award Program, I've been in the audience many times in your position viewing this program. And I have to tell you, this view of our honorees and their guests is pretty special to me. I'm very privileged to be here. So on behalf of the State Human Resources Director, Barbara Gibson, and the entire team at the Office of State Human Resources, I am delighted to welcome you to the 2023 Richard Caswell Awards ceremony. As Steve was saying, the recipients of the Caswell Award have achieved a rare milestone of 45 years of public service to the people of North Carolina. This year's 19 honorees have provided 800, as we were talking about, and 55 years of service. It's just really hard to get your mind around that number because it is so impressive. Since 2015, 167 state employees have been recognized for their extraordinary duration of service, which reflects more than 7,515 cumulative years of service in the state of North Carolina. Today's honorees joined the workforce in or around the mid-1970s. And suffice it to say, I'm sure that each of you has experienced profound changes to the work-life balance and work-life opportunities of the state of North Carolina. Think about it. Many of the items that provide us the 24/7 access to work today were commonplace 45 years ago. In fact, many of them have yet to even be invented. You might have worn a bulky pager on your belt, you remember those? But today's pervasive cell phones didn't even become available until the mid-1980s. And were not standard work gear until much later than that. Phones were probably landlines when you started your careers. Rotary dial phones were on the way out and on the cusp of being replaced with what we all know today as the push-button models. A large electric typewriter likely anchored your desk. I know it did mine. I came to my office and was like, what? Maybe if you got lucky and you had a self-correcting typewriter. Or maybe you even kept a little bottle of whiteout on your desk, remember, for those mistakes to correct them. I bet you had a dictionary too, right? Because you had to know how to spell words in the scope of your work at that time. And finally, you were eventually assigned a computer. Remember those bulky processors and small monitors. Remember waiting for the bing bong of a dial-up modem to access the wonders of the World Wide Web. Those were the days, right? And let's not forget, you could buy a McDonald's hamburger for around 45 cents. That was actually my first job, McDonald's. Or you could gas up your car for a mere 53 cents a gallon. When you all started your public service careers, social media and the 24/7 news cycle were unimaginable to us today. Now, they dominate our lives, and they provide North Carolina residents a continuous view of the work done in state government at the touch of their fingertips. There may have been situations where you personally considered stepping aside from state service. But for 45 years, you have elected to step up to state service. You choose to continue serving when you could retire, making a difference in the lives of countless folks you may never meet, because you believe in the mission of helping other people and the people of North Carolina live a more purposeful and abundant life. 234 years after his death in 1789, Governor Caswell would probably be astonished to see how technology has impacted all levels of state government work. How our workplaces now include traditional offices and even remote work locations. How our workforce has grown to reflect the diverse scope of people who all call North Carolina home. He would probably not be surprised by the duration of your dedicated service. Even sometimes incredulous co-workers and friends are. I'd wager a bet that you have stock answers to some of these common questions. Couldn't you have retired 45 years ago? What's wrong with you? Why are you still here? Why are you still getting up early every day and going to work? And one of my favorites. Do you need lessons on how to sleep in? But no would be the answer to that question for me. And they're probably all fair questions. As someone who personally just achieved my 30-year mark last year, having 5 different roles all within the same agency, I understand the temptation of sometimes stepping aside when one becomes eligible. But like Governor Caswell, we fellow public employees feel a calling to service and embrace the changes as opportunities to lead and innovate. Your dedication was especially valuable during the pandemic and amid the great loss of workers during the Great Resignation, a national trend that saw a significant number of public and private workers leave their jobs. I've seen feedback from agencies about the work our honorees are doing and can say with certainty that they each have contributed to programs and services that will have a lasting impact on their agencies and the way they serve all North Carolinians. Whatever your reason for entering public service, we are here today to recognize that your efforts have simply made a difference in the lives of others. Before I get the honor of introducing this year's recipients, let's hear from Governor Roy Cooper, who has recorded a special message for our honorees.
Hi, everybody. Fellow state employee Roy Cooper here. Thanks for your leadership, Director Estrike. Congratulations to this year's Caswell Award honorees. For more than 45 years, you've helped serve people across our state, and it's an honor for me to serve alongside you and other state employees doing this critical work. State employees are the backbone of our state government. You provide the tools for our schools and businesses to succeed. You ensure that people have access to clean air and water. You keep our communities safe and healthy. You run things, and so much more. We know it's been difficult lately to recruit and retain employees, and my budget proposes significant pay raises and bonuses for state employees. Thanks for choosing a career in public service, and congratulations on this well-deserved achievement. On behalf of all North Carolinians, I am grateful for your outstanding service. Thanks for everything.
Thank you, Governor Cooper, for sending those well wishes. So now it's my great pleasure to announce the recipients of the 2023 Caswell Awards. Rhoda Ammons, a Health Services Program Consultant 2 with the Department of Health and Human Services. Addie Avery, Administrative Associate 2 with the Office of Administrative Hearings. Lan C. Bond, Social Work Supervisor with the Department of Health and Human Services. James W. Burnett, Jr., Director of Structural Pest Control and Pesticide Division with the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Gail Dixon Core, Director of the Children's Developmental Services Agency at the Department of Health and Human Resources. Gary Kramer, Database Administrator 2 at the Department of Commerce. Randy Dillon, Engineer 2 at the Department of Transportation. Renee Glendy Early, Historic Preservation and Restoration Supervisor at the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources. Boyd Hamrick, Transportation Worker 2 at the Department of Transportation. Philip Hopkins, Administrative Specialist at the Industrial Commission. Peggy Lee Hunt, Travel Counselor Hostess at the Department of Commerce. Deborah Johnson, Administrative Assistant at the Office of the Governor. Beth Laughinghouse, Healthcare Technician 1 at the Department of Health and Human Services. Sally McDonald, Human Services Program Consultant 3 at the Department of Health and Human Services. Johnny McManus, Pre-Admission Screening and Resident Review Coordinator at the Department of Health and Human Services. Ruth McNeil, Judicial Services Coordinator, the Department of Adult Correction. Roxanne Murphy, Administrative Associate 2, Department of Commerce. Marcia Page, Administrative Specialist 2 at the Department of Labor. And Rhonda Rayner, Assistant Clerk with the Judicial Branch. Some of our honorees were unable to attend today's ceremony and will receive their Caswell Award from agency leadership and local ceremonies. And you'll learn more about today's award recipients shortly from Steve Daniels, including examples how each of you has worked hard, advanced through the ranks, and earned the respect and affection of your peers. Simply stated, you are role models to all of us in state government. Again, on behalf of State Human Resources Director Barbara Gibson, I am humbled by the opportunity to thank you on behalf of all state employees and the people of North Carolina.
Thanks very much. And thanks for that walk back in time over 4.5 decades and the evolution, the journey we've all traveled together. The price of gas, wow, okay, that's starting. Now I get to share some great stories with you about the Caswell Award recipients who are here with us today. Let's talk first about James Burnett. Public service is a noble profession and one that rewards public employees with the knowledge that they are making a positive difference in the lives of so many people. And that's exactly what James Burnett would tell someone who's considering joining the state's dedicated workforce today. James began his work at the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services as a pesticide specialist, and he worked his way through the ranks to become the director of the Structural Pest Control and Pesticides Division. That's a role he has had since 2006. James says he loves his work and he has enjoyed the opportunity to contribute to the well-being of people across the great state of North Carolina. Please welcome James to the stage for his award. Congratulations. In 1978, a young engineering aide joined the ranks of the Department of Transportation, later making his way to the Department of Commerce. And while Gary Kramer did not originally plan on being a lifelong public employee, he found the stability appealing and he found the work in state government very engaging as well. 45 years later, one of Gary's fondest memories is one day when he walked into his office and he found his coworkers had wrapped everything into place in aluminum foil, including the keyboard on his computer. Gary said that one is a day that is hard to forget. Gary, please join us on stage right now, and I promise, no foil today with your award. Gary, congratulations. Our next honoree is a true ambassador of North Carolina and so committed to her work to the state that she's dedicated her entire state career to the Department of Commerce at the Roland Welcome Center right there on I-95 in Robeson County. In 1973, Peggy Lee Hunt joined the state employee family as a travel counselor hostess, and that's a position she still holds today. She says she really loves helping people with their daily travel plans, helping them navigate North Carolina, understand how to get where they're going along I-95. And Peggy's fondest memory there at the Roland Welcome Center on I-95 was hosting the 50th anniversary celebration of the center in 2019. Peggy, thanks for being a remarkable ambassador to everyone across North Carolina, traveling through North Carolina, please join us here on stage. Thank you, congratulations. Since Roxanne Lohman Murphy began her state career in 1978, she's greatly appreciated the benefits of being a state employee, and she really enjoys working with her team. Roxanne's first role at the Division of Employment Security was as a clerk typist, and she's performed various clerical duties throughout her extended career in state government. Some of her most memorable experiences throughout her time working at the state revolve around celebrating really great milestones with her coworkers, and we're so happy to have you here and celebrate with you today. She always tells new and state employees to find their passion and then stick with it. Join me in honoring Roxanne. Since his first day of work at the Department of Health and Human Services in 1978, Lamb C. Bond has been striving to help people all across our state lead more purposeful and fulfilling lives. He began his journey as a program director for the University Year for Action program, providing guidance for students working in community service organizations throughout Eastern North Carolina. Being a career state employee was Lamb's intention from the beginning because he really appreciates the state's very strong retirement system. Lamb worked at various hospitals and nursing home facilities, delivering social work services to people in need. He's now the social work director at the Longleaf Neuromedical Center in Wilson. He found his work providing services to nursing home residents to be really the most gratifying during his career, and his hard work did not go unnoticed. Lamb received the DHHS Secretary's Award for Outstanding Service in 1983. Join me in honoring this very dedicated public employee. Our next recipient found her work with the state especially enriching because it gave her the opportunity to help children with disabilities and also help their families. Gail Dixon Core began working as a staff psychologist at the Wayne County Mental Health Center in 1978. Gail never forgot when a supervisor noticed her potential and really encouraged her to stick with the state and advance her career. Throughout her 45 years, she took those words to heart. She worked very hard to climb through the ranks until earning her current role as the director of the Children's Developmental Services Agencies at the Department of Health and Human Services. Gail encourages all new employees who enjoy their work to stay with the state. As she says, good things will very often come. Please join me in welcoming Gail to the stage to receive her award. Sally McDonald began her journey with the state as a social work trainee at the Department of Health and Human Services, where she worked on child support cases in Cumberland County. It is sometimes challenging work, as you can imagine, but it proved to be the perfect fit for Sally. She spent her entire state career with the department, and through the years, she's worked in various child support roles to help provide resources to children who need them. She's most proud of her current work as a human services program consultant, where she can positively influence the lives of so many families in the Sandhills. She chooses to live her life by a quote from Denzel Washington. Don't aspire to make a living. Aspire to make a difference. Let's honor this dedicated public employee on stage. Sally. It's only fitting that our next honoree is here to receive a Caswell Award today because she began her career at the Department of Health and Human Services Caswell Developmental Center in Kinston. So we know this day was meant to be. Johnny Grandy McManus got her first job with the state right out of college in 1978. And Johnny credits her father, the Reverend John Wesley Grandy, for explaining the benefits of public employment, teaching her the value of giving back. Johnny began as a therapeutic recreation specialist, and she went on to work in various roles at the DHHS, where she spent her entire state career. Johnny says each of these positions really made her a better person, and she's still very thankful for every one of them. Let's welcome Johnny to the stage to receive her award. Our next Caswell recipient loved her time with state government so much, she became a state employee 2 different times. Marcia Page first started in 1971 as a bookkeeping machine operator at the Department of Transportation's Division of Motor Vehicles. After 7 years of service, she left state employment, and then she returned again in 1985 when her kids were a little older to work with the Department of Labor. Marcia is now the administrative specialist reporting to the bureau chief of the Mine and Quarry Bureau of the Standards and Inspections Division. She tells new state employees to always reach for their goals and to use the state's resources to further their education. Let's have a round of applause for Marcia. Renee Glenhill Early understands the importance of really celebrating North Carolina's rich history. In 1978, Renee began her career as a survey specialist at the State Historic Preservation Office in the Department of Cultural Resources, now the Department of Natural and Cultural Resources. Throughout her years there, Renee's worked very hard to adapt to the constantly changing times, especially because of the evolving technology and the equipment you're using on the job every day. Going from working full-time in an office at times to part-time teleworking, and throughout these changes, Renee has never lost her passion for preserving North Carolina's past and the fulfilling feeling that work has always brought her. Let's have a round of applause for Renee as she joins us now. Our final honoree who is with us here today is someone who truly exemplifies public service. Deborah B. Johnson began working with the state in 1980 as an automatic keyboard typist at the impressively named Word Processing Center within the Department of Community Colleges. She's been employed by 7 different state agencies and currently serves as the office manager at the Office of the Governor. Deborah says her most rewarding and very favorite experience over all those years came from working at a call center for the DMV. She gets this call from a young mom and a new North Carolina resident, and she's frantically trying to register her car so she can pick up her husband when he returned home from a military deployment to Iraq. Deborah did something extraordinary. She gave this young mom her personal phone number so she could call over the weekend if something went sideways as she was trying to get her car there to pick up her husband from military duty. Needless to say, Deborah made it all worked out. The woman got there with the kids, welcomed the dad home from Iraq. It's a wonderful story. Deborah, congratulations. Please join us on the stage. Now that you've met these remarkable state employees and learned a little bit about their impressive careers, I know you can feel the enthusiasm and passion of our Caswell Award recipients. All of them, your careers have been extraordinary and they have been admirable. You are role models, and we admire you for your tremendous work ethic that contributes to a great work culture inside your offices, inside state government. And we are so glad to have had the opportunity to join with you this afternoon to honor your accomplishments. And on behalf of everyone who has made this event possible today, and as a person who has called North Carolina home now for more than 2 decades, I want to thank you for everything you've done and continue to do to contribute to the betterment of all of our lives here in North Carolina. It's extraordinary, it's remarkable, and we applaud you for your dedication to your careers and to state government here in North Carolina. I'd like to ask all of our Caswell recipients to stand again. Let's give them one final round. I'm so glad you were all able to join us today for the ceremony. A reception is getting underway right now in the lobby. We have some food, some snacks, music from Greg Geld, and I'm so glad you joined us today. You may have seen a photojournalist from ABC 11 here. We're going to talk about this on the 5 o'clock news today, so if you're back home, check us out on ABC 11 at 5 o'clock. Thank you again for joining us, and again, thank you for your dedicated service and remarkable careers here in North Carolina. We'll see you next year.